So in this PYQ session for CS Professional June 2021 attempt, we will be starting from June 2016 attempt till December 2020 attempt, both old as well as the new syllabus papers we are going to discuss here. Roughly there are 28 questions which are being asked, and in those 28 questions which are there for a takeover in these attempts, we will be covering all those questions. And as I always say, the objective of PYQ session is always to develop your approach, how to write your answer. मेरा पूरा ऑब्जेक्टिव आपका रहेगा कि आप इस आंसर को किस तरह से अप्रोच करते हो, क्या आपके इसमें ब्लूप्रिंट्स तैयार होंगे कोई भी क्वेश्चन अगर आएगा. So in case you are watching this BYQ session for the first time, so just understand that in this BYQ session, it is not merely the discussion or the revision. Here, it is a proper strategically designed lecture where we will be discussing about the approach, which will again help you in the exam when you write your answers. And again, I would always expect that you guys write the answers for these questions and you can share those answers with me, which I can check and I can get back to you whether that answer is appropriate or not in terms of the language, right? So this is the first question that we have, and this is June 2016. So I have not written the attempt there. I'll keep on writing the attempt. So this is June 2016 attempt, और ये आपका question number 1 का part B है, which is for 3 marks. ये आपका 3 marks का question था. तो इसमें आप देखो यहाँ पे एक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड आपको क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है that in the event of amount lying in the escrow account, forfeiture of the amount lying in the escrow account, the acquirer shall be paid 1/3 of the amount forfeited in terms of regulation 17 sub-regulation 10 of the SAST regulation 2011. So if you remember, क्योंकि ये 3 marks का question है, so what are you going to write in this answer? Are you going to write what are the reasons when the escrow account will be forfeited, or the question is something very specific in this? प्लीज आप लोग बताओ, क्या आंसर इसमें आप लोग लिखोगे? द आंसर इज समथिंग वेरी स्पेसिफिक और द आंसर इज इन जनरल?
सर इट वुड बी स्पेसिफिक ना, डायरेक्ट 1710 बोला है तो रेगुलेशन.
ओके, 1710 के अंदर भी अगर आप देखो तो यहाँ पर आपको क्या लिखना है? व्हाट यू हैव टू राइट इन दिस आंसर? सो जस्ट सी, यहाँ पे आप एक चीज देखो, वो ये बता रहा है कि जब escrow account forfeit होता है, whenever the escrow account is forfeited, okay, the acquirer shall be paid 1/3 of the amount forfeited in terms of regulation 1710. So it's saying that whenever the escrow account is forfeited, 1/3 of the amount is paid to the acquirer. So is it? What happens when the escrow account is forfeited? What happens when the escrow account is forfeited?
So 1/3 to the target company, 1/3 to the investor protection fund, I think, and
Correct.
to the shareholders who had applied for the
Who had surrendered the shares in the open offer, correct? The tendering period. So you have to write the answer that no, when the escrow account is forfeited, right? So when the escrow account is forfeited, right? No amount is paid to the acquirer. No amount is paid to the acquirer, right? ये आपको ध्यान रखना है. No amount would be paid to the acquirer. Then in the second part, you are going to write that upon forfeiture, right? Upon forfeiture, the escrow account, right? 1/3 is given each to, like how Neelam said here, this will be given to the shareholders of the target company, correct? The shareholders of the target company who tendered the shares. Please आप ये जरूर से लिखना, if you don't write this, who tendered, sorry, so this spelling has gone wrong, who tendered, right? Who tendered their shares, right? Then 1/3 will be given to the SEBI Investor Protection Education Fund, right? And then 1/3 would be given to the target company. Now tell me, is this clear? Is this clear? So this is a 3-mark question. So you're just going to write this. If this was, let's say, a 5-mark question, right? If it's a 5-mark question, then you can also write that when the escrow account would be forfeited. So this is something additional which you will write in your answer, that when the escrow account is forfeited, the escrow account is forfeited. So ये आप एक additional point है जो exam में लिख सकते हो अगर ये question 5 mark के लिए आया. Otherwise, if it's a 3-mark question, I think this much is more than enough. So is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then again, we have another question, and this question is again from June 2016 attempt only. June 16, and this was question number 1, part B, sub part 3. This was sub part 2. This was sub part 2, and this is your sub part 3. And in this, again, this was asked for 3 marks. ये आपसे 3 marks के लिए पूछा गया था. तो इसमें आप देखो इसमें question क्या दे रहा है, that an offer which is the acquirer, in which the acquirer has stipulated the minimum level of acceptance, is known as conditional offer. So आप मुझे बताओ क्या approach रहेगा आपका इस answer के अंदर? What are you going to write in this answer? So basically it's a straightforward question where they are asking you what is a conditional offer. So instead of asking what is conditional offer, they have given you a statement, and this is a comment question. Just remember, this is a comment question. So your answer is going to be yes, conditional offer is what? What is conditional offer? What is a conditional offer? So conditional offer is what is given here. Okay, यही same point आपको लिखना है. But then what else you are going to write in this answer? Because if the question would have been what is conditional offer, तो आपका पहला पॉइंट ये हो जाता that an offer in which the acquirer had stipulated minimum level of acceptance is called as conditional offer. But this is what is already given in the question. So if this is what is already given in the question, then you just cannot write the same sentence with yes and expect to get 3 marks. So what else you are going to write in this? तो ये आपका opening statement हो गया. What else would you write here? और क्या होता है कंडीशनल ऑफर के अंदर? कंडीशनल ऑफर में और क्या होता है? What else do you write in? It's there in the conditional offer. So what happens? The acquirer enters into the share purchase agreement. Yes or no? It's the acquirer who enters into a share purchase agreement, and in that share purchase agreement or pursuant to this share purchase agreement, right? The trigger is attracted, correct? So the trigger is attracted, and when the trigger is attracted, the acquirer is required to give the public announcement for the open offer, right? And the DPS, the detailed public statement, which is made pursuant or after the public announcement. In this case, the acquirer can mention, right? The acquirer can mention the condition, right? Can mention the condition, and यहाँ पर फिर वो आपका पॉइंट आ जाएगा कंडीशन के अंदर. द कंडीशन वुड बी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मिनिमम level of acceptance, right? And if minimum level of acceptance is received, then the acquirer accepts the offer, correct? So if minimum level of acceptance is received, minimum level of acceptance is received, the acquirer is going to complete the acquisition, correct? Is going to complete the acquisition of the open offer, plus he is also going to complete the acquisition pursuant to the share purchase agreement. And if the minimum level of acceptance is not received, in that case, acquirer, the basically the offer stands rescinded, right? The offer stands rescinded. And also the share purchase agreement is also terminated. Guys, clear?
Yes, sir.
दिस इज क्लियर. सो अगर 3 मार्क का क्वेश्चन आता है तो भी आपका कंटेंट इतना ही रहेगा, और अगर 5 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन है तो भी आपका कंटेंट इतना ही रहेगा. आप बताओ, इज दिस क्लियर? एंड नीलम, इफ यू रिमेंबर व्हेन वी वर स्टडिंग टेक ओवर रेगुलेशंस, ऑफर प्रोसेस में आपने मेरे से एक रेगुलेशन 8 का क्वेश्चन पूछा था, दैट इन केस द मिनिमम लेवल ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस इज नॉट रिसीव्ड, द अक्वायरर may offer a price which is lower than the offer price. Remember?
Yes, sir.
So you can write that point also. However, that price should not be below the regulation 8 price, right? So if you have time, you can write that also. But otherwise, this much would be more than sufficient as far as your exam is concerned. आप बताइए, this is clear? This is clear?
Yes, sir.
ये वाला?
I have a doubt.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, there is a question in my book. Under what conditions can an acquirer or any person acting in concert may make an offer conditional as to the level of acceptance, which may be less than 20% of the issued and paid up capital of the target company?
Which
Sir,
can be,
20%,
which can be?
which may be less than 20% of the issued and paid up capital of the target company.
Okay, so ये आप शायद ओल्ड सिलेबस के जो ओल्ड सिलेबस बता रहा हूँ, टेक ओवर रेगुलेशन 97 है, ये शायद उसका क्वेश्चन है.
Okay, sir.
Because in 1997 regulation, the open offer limit was 15% पे trigger होता था and 20% was the offer size. Okay, so right now we have 25% पे trigger and 26 is the offer size. So that's what is there.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
But the book is book is new, but I think the question is from
Question,
old.
I think, yes, the question which has been copied, that has been copied from the old syllabus. You can do one more thing. You can send me the picture of that question on WhatsApp. I can check and I can again get back to you. But yes, 20%, less than 20%, it's definitely takeover regulation 97. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So next question that we have, this is again a 5 mark question. This is again June 2016 attempt, right? And in June 16 attempt, this is your question number 2, subpart A. So it says that explain the term person acting in concert with reference to the SEBI takeover regulations 2011. Now tell me, this is a 5 mark question. What you are going to write? Will you write the deemed PSE or will you just explain PSE? What is going to be your answer in this? What is going to be the answer in this case? So PSE कौन होता है? Who is a PSE?
सर इसमें who is PSC भी हम explain कर सकते हैं और deemed PSC भी करेंगे because of 5 marks question है.
Definitely, because this is a 5 mark question, we are going to explain PSE and we are also going to explain who is deemed PSE. So you have to write completely about the person acting in concert. So when we talk about person acting in concert, so we will mention that who is person acting in concert? Who is person acting in concert? Who
With
has
a
what?
common objective.
Very good. So there is a person, that person. So these are the common terms which your answer should have. Okay. So there is a person who has what? Who has common objective, right?
Yes, sir.
What else? Common objective for what? For the acquisition
Acquisition
of
Acquisition.
shares,
Sale,
control
voting rights.
or voting
or
rights.
voting
Correct?
rights.
Over the target company. Okay, fantastic. Common objective with whom? Common objective with whom?
Acquirer.
With acquirer. Correct. So the common objective is with the acquirer. Okay. What else? And this common objective can be established by?
Formal or informal
So
agreement.
this, yes. So there can be a formal or there can be an informal agreement. There can be an agreement, okay?
Or
Or
understanding.
there can be an understanding. Fantastic. What else?
Directly or indirectly.
Very good. Directly or indirectly. So this completes your definition of this is directly and this is indirectly. So ये आपके लिए यहाँ पर आंसर complete होता है. So this is what is there. Now, who needs to establish that the other person is acting as PAC? The onus of proof is on SEBI, right?
Yes.
So onus of proof is on SEBI, right? SEBI needs to establish the facts. And then we are going to have the deemed PSC, correct? But following are deemed PSC. And what is deemed PSC? Where two persons are presumed to be PSC, right? Or the person is presumed to be person acting in concert, correct? So the person is presumed to be PSC. Do mention here who has the onus of proof. So onus of proof lies on the person to prove that the person was not acting as PSC. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the onus of proof is on other person, right? Or is on the person to prove that he is not acting as PSC. He is not acting as person acting in concert. Okay. Now they are. So अब आपको यहाँ पे पूरा लिस्ट बताना है. So ये जो पूरा लिस्ट होगा डीम्ड पीएससी का वो पूरा लिस्ट आप यहाँ पे बता दोगे. तो यहाँ पर कौन कौन आ जाएंगे? You will have the company, the holding company, the group company basically. Company, holding company, subsidiary company. Does associate company also come here? क्या एसोसिएट
Yes.
कंपनी भी आएगा? नो.
No, 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 no.
एसोसिएट नहीं आएगा. होल्डिंग कंपनी, सब्सिडरी कंपनी, करेक्ट. देन व्हाट एल्स? द कंपनी अंडर द कॉमन कंट्रोल. यस और नो?
Yes.
द कंपनी विच इज
Person
अंडर
in
द
management.
right. So company under common control, or rather companies under common control. What else?
Directors of
Then we have, let's say, the directors of such companies, correct? The directors of such companies, right? What else? Then the promoter and members of
promoters
the promoter group, correct?
and
So you,
immediate relatives.
yes. So the promoters and the promoters group, then the immediate relatives of the person, immediate relatives of the acquirer, correct? What else? What else यहाँ पे और क्या क्या आ जाएगा?
Fund.
Four types of fund.
Fund. So how many types of funds were there? How many
Four
types
types.
of?
uh,
Four types.
Mutual fund.
So
Four
you
types.
had mutual fund, okay.
CFI, CIF,
CIS, okay.
hmm,
Then
venture capital, VCF,
venture capital fund and alternate investment fund, correct.
investment fund,
So
AI.
the fund, the sponsor, the trustee company, and the asset management company, correct. Then we also had merchant banker and his client, right? And then we also had the broker and his client, who is the acquirer, correct. And then even portfolio manager, yes or no? The portfolio manager, not the broker, it's portfolio manager, sorry. The portfolio manager would also be considered as, so this is portfolio manager. वो यहाँ पे आपके लिए बन जाएगा. Then the bank, the financial advisors, the stock brokers of the acquirer, provided they are not in the ordinary course of business. If they are doing it in the ordinary course of business, then there is no problem. और फिर एक हमने देखा था investment company. Remember, if there is a investment company in which the person has interest, right? The investment company or any other fund in which the person has interest, right? Interest of 10% और मोर. तो अगर कंपनी है तो शेयर है और फंड है तो आपके पास 10% या उससे ज्यादा यूनिट्स है. सो इन दैट केस इट विल बी अ डीम्ड पीएससी. सो डू रिमेंबर दिस इज अ 5 mark question. This is going to be, the answer is going to be lengthy, right? But still finish this answer with as precisely you can write as much as you can do, right? And don't forget to mention this, that in the first part the onus of proof is on SEBI, and in the second part the onus of proof will be on the person to establish that he is not acting as a PSC. Guys, clear with this? This is clear? Then we again have this another question. What does the term crown jewel stand for as defense strategy in respect of a takeover bid? So this is again your question number 2, part C, June 2016. Right. So now tell me what is going to be the answer for this. So what happens in case of crown jewel? What happens in case? Yes.
So selling of the most well, like the division which gets the most profit to
So,
save the whole.
right. So
Selling
selling.
of its core competencies.
So selling of the core competency assets or undertaking, right? Assets or undertaking. Correct. What happens after this? This is to prevent hostile takeover. Correct. By demotivating the acquirer, demotivating the acquirer, or you can say that uh, basically making the purpose of acquisition futile, making the purpose of acquisition futile मतलब waste, कोई use का नहीं रहा, ठीक है? Then what else will you write for crown jewel, because it's for 5 marks. Now what else you are going to write here, since it is for 5 marks? What else would you write here?
Example.
No, is there a problem here?
No.
So is there a problem in this crown jewel? We discussed, is crown jewel possible in India?
No, not possible in India.
Why crown jewel is not possible in India?
So because after public announcement हम dispose नहीं कर सकते अपने assets like.
कौन बोलता है ऐसा?
देखो.
कौन बोलता है? There are two restrictions here. So this is not possible in India, right? Not possible तो नहीं. Better word would be, this would be not viable in India. And why it will not be viable in India? There are two reasons. One is your Companies Act 2013. So in case of Companies Act 2013, you have section 180
Yes sir. Sorry.
1C,
Yes, sir.
right? Which says that if there is any sale of undertaking up to 20%, you need to pass SR. And then second that you have is your takeover regulation. So what does the takeover regulation, and how does the takeover regulation prohibit? So you have regulation 26. I asked you all to read regulation 26, remember? So regulation 26 2C. This again requires special resolution after the public announcement is made. So during the offer period, if any undertaking is to be sold, so the company needs to pass the special resolution. So this is your crown jewel. Aap batao, is this clear? Right?
Yes sir.
Okay, let's go to the next question then. Okay, so this was again a 5-mark question from the same June 2016 attempt. So you can see in June 2016, one who has left takeover regulation would regret it, right? And we'll just see the trend also, how in past attempts they have asked the questions. So in some attempt they have asked so many questions from takeover regulation, and in the other attempt, very next attempt, you will find that hardly they have asked any kind of questions. So be very careful that you don't get selective sorry, about the chapters that you are going to study, because you never know the chapter which you are leaving. Institute may ask you a substantial part from that particular chapter, and in that case you will have nothing else other than to regret. So don't do that, right? So what will be the answer for this? And I really love this question. This is a perfect analytical question. So June 2016, the all questions which were asked were of good quality. Now tell me, what will be your answer for this? What will be your answer for this? It says that general exemption under regulation 10 and exemption by board under regulation 11, it's one and the same. Is it? Is it one and the same, or it is different? Is it same or it is different? First and foremost thing you need to mention this. Is it same or is it different? Because it says that it's one and the same. So first comment here would be whether it is same or not. So answer would be it is not same. the exemption under regulation 10 and 11 is not same. Why it is not same? Because regulation 10 is your automatic exemption, correct? It's your automatic exemption, and regulation 11, it is by the express approval from the board. Clear? This is by the express approval of the board. All right. What else? What else? What else would be there? Regulation 10. If it exempts you completely. You get complete exemption or 100% exemption from that. But in case of regulation 11, SEBI may relax the open offer process, or it can uh, give a complete waiver. So SEBI may grant a complete waiver or a partial waiver, either complete or a partial waiver from the process, right? What else? What else? So to fall or to qualify for exemptions under regulation 10, the transaction, right? The transaction must fall into the categories specified in the regulation 10, correct? It must fall in the category which is specified in regulation 10 plus subject to compliance of certain conditions. Yes or no? Like if you remember interstate transfer, can I pay double the market price in interstate transfer? Subject to compliance of certain conditions, right? So tell me one thing. In regulation 10, 1A, tell me, can I pay double the price in case of interstate transfer, or is there any restriction in terms of the price? So you cannot pay more than 125% of the volume weighted average price of the last 60 days, right? So this is there. But what about regulation 11? It will be at the discretion of SEBI. If SEBI deems fit, yes or no? If SEBI deems fit, the exemption would be granted. Now tell me, क्या ये आप लोगों को clear हुआ? क्या
Yes, sir.
ये आप लोगों को clear हुआ? I really feel that this answer, this particular question can get repeated once again. Right. So do practice this question. So that's all for your June attempt. So in your June 2016 attempt, so somewhere around 24 marks was
No,
from
in
takeover
question,
regulation. Yes.
only we have to explain the differences between the two or full
So just see,
exemption.
it is not distinguished between. It is not a distinguished between question. It's a comment question. So that's the reason if you will find, I have not made a T-shape format where I have distinguished between 10 and 11. What it says, so just understand, until unless the word uses, the question uses the word distinguish between, differentiate between, don't um, write your answer in a format which is, distinguishing or it is differentiating between the two. If it's a comment based question, you have to write it in this particular format where we are comparing to the two. So you just have to put your comment here. You don't have to distinguish.
Only the comparison will be made, na?
Yes,
Ye
only. Yes. So you're not going to write in detail what is there in regulation 10. So if you see very smartly, I have written here that regulation 10, for regulation 10, getting exemption under regulation 10, the transaction must fall into the categories which are specified in regulation 10. So let's say it's an interstate transfer, or it's in the ordinary course of business, or it's pursuant to disinvestment or CDR, or let's say this is again due to buyback, right issue, right forfeiture, SARFACI. So whatever it is, the transaction should fall into the category which is specified in regulation 10. Only that you're going to get that exemption. Also, there are certain compliances which needs to be done. So even if it's an interstate transfer between the two promoters, but the promoters must be the promoters of the target company for the last 3 years. Even it's acquirer and PAC, but the PAC and acquirer the relationship should be established for the last 3 years, right? So all those conditions, if it is, so just mention this way, that subject to the compliance of the certain conditions, or you can also write instead of certain, because certain gives a feeling that it's a vague. So you can say the preconditions, compliances of the preconditions, or when the preconditions are being satisfied. So when the preconditions are satisfied and the transaction falls into that category, you are going to get that exemption. Now tell me, will you be able to write this if you don't know that yes, there are in regulation 10 there are these two things, yes or no? Regulation 10 में अगर आपको exemption चाहिए तो ऐसा ही होता है ना, कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन है जिसको स्पेसिफाई किया गया है और कुछ ट्रांजैक्शंस को जो स्पेसिफाई किया गया उसके साथ प्री कंडीशंस दिए हैं, तो आपको प्री कंडीशंस को भी फुलफिल करना होगा, और अगर आप उस ट्रांजैक्शन में फॉल करोगे तो आपको एग्जाम्पशन यहाँ पर मिलेगा. सो दैट्स व्हाट इज बीइंग गिवन हियर. सो दिस इज हाउ you need to write the answer, and then you have this regulation 11, and in this regulation 11 you'll get this: at the discretion of SEBI, there is no precondition. If SEBI deems fit in the interest of the market, it will allow, otherwise it will not allow. Okay.
Yes.
So you don't have to mention in detail regulation 10, right? And also one more thing which I said, you do not write it in the distinguish between format until the question requires so. Just write it, it's a comment based question, so just write it in the comment based. So simply there isn't many things which you have to write it here. So this was asked for 5 marks. Even if it is asked for 3 marks, please write this much only. So if that, irrespective whether it's being asked for 5 marks or 3 marks, your content would be this much only. Okay. So let's go ahead, and now we can go to December 2016. So this is a December 2016 attempt question, and this is question number 3, part A, and this was for 3 marks. So what you are going to write for this answer? I mean, for this question, what is going to be your answer? What is poison pill? What is poison pill defense? What happens in case of poison pill? What happens in case of poison pill? What happens in case of poison pill? The company has to incur unexpected cost. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So in case of poison pill, basically the company needs to incur high and unexpected expense. Unexpected expenses. Yes or no? Which makes the takeover not profitable, right? And this is to be done after the takeover is completed. After the takeover is completed. Guys, clear? Thereafter, if you see, in case of poison pill, then you also issue shares, or basically it gives, in case of poison pill, it gives rights to the shareholder, right? It gives rights to the existing shareholder to acquire the shares at a very lower price, correct? Gives the
Yes.
existing shareholder to buy shares at discounted rate. What does this do? It dilutes the shareholding. It dilutes the voting rights of the acquirer. Okay, guys, this is clear. And also makes the takeover more expensive. Makes the takeover more expensive. So these are which is there in the poison pill defense. So 3 mark question, again this much you can write here, right? Then in the same attempt you had another question, question number 3, part E. So this is question number 3, part E, and same December 2016, and this was also for 3 marks. Now tell me, what is going to be the answer for this question? Open offer can be withdrawn under regulation 23 of the SEBI SAST regulations 2011. So what would be the answer for this? What would be the answer for this? Can the open offer be withdrawn? First of all, do you remember the regulation number for this? Do you remember the regulation number for this? I specifically mentioned some of the regulations which you need to remember. So what is going to be the regulation number for this? It's regulation 23. Remember? So this is going to be regulation 23. So even though it is a 3-mark question, do write again. Even if the answer is for 5 marks, your answer would be same. If the question is for 5 marks, the answer would be same. So as per regulation 23 of the takeover regulation, correct? The open offer can be withdrawn, correct? And the open offer can be withdrawn in what circumstances? If the acquirer being a natural person, he has died, correct? So acquirer being natural person, right? The acquirer being the natural person, right? The acquirer being the natural person has died, right? Then what else is there? If the statutory approvals are not received, correct? If the statutory approvals are not received, correct? Then what else would be there? If the condition is not met, right? So if the condition is not met, provided the condition was mentioned in the DPS, right? Provided the condition was met in the DPS, correct? Now, if it's a 5-mark question, if it is a 5, and oh, of course, one more thing you have, if SEBI deems fit, if SEBI permits, then the open offer can be withdrawn. Now, in case this is a 5-mark question, अगर ये 5 मार्क के लिए आपको मिला, तो ये होगा extra point जो आप यहाँ पर लिखोगे. And can anyone tell me what is going to be that extra point? There was a situation where the open offer could have been withdrawn, but now it cannot be withdrawn. Remember, pursuant to preferential allotment. Remember, pursuant to the preferential allotment. क्या होगा? If pursuant to the preferential allotment, special resolution is not successful, right? The open offer cannot be withdrawn. Remember?
Yes, sir.
The open offer cannot be withdrawn. So अगर आप 5 मार्क का क्वेश्चन आता है और आप ये पॉइंट लिख के आते हो, तो this is again going to be a add-on point for you. If it's a 3-mark question, then I think these 4 points are sufficient. But if it's a 5-mark question, do write this and this extra point. In fact, अगर 3 marks के लिए भी आता है and you get time, do write this point also. That if pursuant to the preferential allotment, the public announcement was made, right? Public announcement was made, and later on, the special resolution is not successful. Still, the open offer cannot be withdrawn here. Okay, guys, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's see the next question that we have. So this is from June 2017. Okay, this is June 2017, and this is question number 2, part A. And this was for 5 marks question. So tell me, what is going to be the obligation of the independent directors? What is going to be the obligation? Providing reasonable recommendation for the acquirer. What is going to be the obligation for the independent directors of the target company? मैंने कुछ regulations आप लोगों को पढ़ने को बोला था, right? उसके अंदर ये एक था. So what is the obligation? What will be the obligation? Have you all read that? क्या आप लोगों ने वो obligation वाला part पूरा पढ़ा?
सर एक्चुअली जो रेगुलेशंस हुए थे मैंने भी वही पढ़े हैं और कुछ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए थे.
Okay.
सर रेगुलेशंस मैंने भी नहीं देखे.
Okay, so if you remember, okay, so tell me, when does the independent director is required to give the opinion? पूरे takeover process में क्या इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर को कोई ओपिनियन देना पड़ता है या नहीं देना पड़ता? Is there any place where we have the independent director's opinion? Do we have in the open offer process?
2 days before the independent tendering
Tendering
period.
Right. So here it is the target company or the independent, right? So the independent directors of the target company. The independent directors of the target company will get the, or basically there is the obligation that they need to release their opinion, correct? They need to release their opinion, and this opinion is to be released 2 working days prior to the commencement of the commencement of the tendering period. Okay. Who will ensure that the independent directors have released their opinion? ये responsibility किसके ऊपर दिया गया है? Who is being given this responsibility? The responsibility is given on the target company. So again, if you see regulation 26. So as I said you, regulation 26 is going to be a very important regulation for you, right? So if you read regulation 26, sub regulation 7, this gives the obligation, right? So this is the obligation of the target company to release their opinion, right? The independent director opinion. So वो यहाँ पर क्या करेंगे? There will be a committee which will be there, independent directors का, और ये लोग अपना opinion यहाँ पर देंगे और ये 2 दिन पहले जाएगा, and the opinion will be given to whom? The opinion will be given to whom? So this will be released, right? So this will be released to whom? This will be released to the, of course, the
Both.
shareholders of the target company. The shareholders of the target company. What else? और किसको जाएगा ये?
Sir, SEBI.
This will also go to the SEBI and also to the stock exchanges, right? SEBI and also to the stock exchanges where the shares of the target company is listed. Okay, and this will also be published in the newspapers जिसके अंदर आपका public announcement गया था, right? And this will also be published in the newspaper. This would be published in the newspapers where the public announcement was made. तो ये आपका पॉइंट पूरा आता है, एंड दे शुड इंश्योर दैट कि जो भी यहाँ पर आपका है ट्रू जो प्रोफेशनल एडवाइस होगा. सो बेसिकली व्हाट दे डू, द इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स, दे exhibit or they offer professional advice, and this professional advice is given to whom? This professional advice is given to the shareholders. Okay, ये publish कराने का expense कौन bear करेगा? Who is going to bear that? So this is going to be borne by the target company, right? So this is going to bear the expenses. Needs to bear the expenses here, right? So ये एक आपके पास question था from June 2017 attempt, and this was asked for 5 marks. After that, we have another question. So this is again June 2017. This is question number 2C, and this is also for 5 marks. So again, the question is, what is voluntary offer? So what is voluntary offer? What is voluntary offer?
Sir, 10% दे सकते हैं minimum, 30% pre-holding होना चाहिए.
30.
25% pre-holding.
Sorry, more than 25%.
More than 25.
25. Sir, let me 25
So,
होना चाहिए.
right.
25% off.
So first of all, when you try to explain the answer, what is voluntary offer? What is going to be your approach? First of all, explain what is voluntary offer. So what happens in case of voluntary offer? Has the acquirer attracted the obligation to give the public announcement? Has the acquirer attracted the obligation to give the public announcement, or suo motu it has been given?
No motor. No, sir, it's what I think.
So basically,
So motor.
person without attracting the obligation, right? Just mention this very nicely. You can explain it there. And just one line in your answer will again enhance the entire level of your answer. So person without attracting the obligation, okay? And obligation is under which regulation?
6.
6. अरे इसके अंदर आप बताओ, person without attracting the obligation
Under
under,
regulation 3
yes, under
Four.
regulation 3,
or
4
4.
or 4 or 5, right?
5. Okay.
Makes the public announcement, right? Makes the public announcement to acquire shares of the target company. This is called as voluntary offer. Make sense? ये समझ में आया आपको?
Yes, sir.
Right? So please mute when you are not talking. Okay. So this is voluntary offer. Then second part you are going to write. Who is eligible to give the voluntary offer? So basically it is eligible for the person who is holding
Holds 25%.
25% or more. Okay.
Or
Who holds 25% or more of the voting rights of the target company. Then you are going to mention what is going to be the quantum of voluntary offer. What is going to be the quantum of voluntary offer? Minimum, it should be given for 10%, right? And what is maximum? Post
Maximum
offer.
permissible.
So maximum permissible तो correct है, but उसके पहले आपको कुछ लिखना होगा that post offer, right? Post offer the shareholding of such person, right?
must
Of
not
such-
exceed.
yes, of such person along with PSE. Along with PSE must not exceed maximum permissible non-public shareholding, right? So the maximum permissible non-public shareholding. ये आपको ध्यान रखना है, correct? Now, what else you are going to write for voluntary open offer? Is there any precondition? Is there any restriction or precondition?
Restrictions on acquisition.
Right. So no acquisition should have been made. No acquisition. So basically restrictions के बारे में अगर हम लिखें तो no acquisition in preceding 52 weeks. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So no acquisition in the preceding 52 weeks. What else? No acquisition during the offer period. Yes or no? No acquisition during the offer period except under the open offer, right? Except under the open offer. What else? No acquisition for another
6 months.
next 6 months. Right. Since this is 5 marks question, so you can write here except another open offer. Correct. So if you want to give another open offer, you can do that, or voluntary. Oh, sorry. This is competing offer. If you want to give competing offer, you can do that. Correct. Then acquisition by way of bonus, right issue. Correct. So ये आपको यहाँ पर फिर भी allowed है. आप बताओ, is this clear? So the bonus, right issue, etc. आप बताइए, is this clear? Guys, this is clear? This is clear? So these two questions were for 5 marks. Now again you have, this is another question. This is again from June 2017, right? And this is question number 2, capital A, second, part 2. And this was again for 5 marks. Now tell me, release of escrow. What will be the answer for this? So how the escrow account will be released and when the escrow account is released. Again, if you see, it is regulation 17 sub regulation 10. So escrow से पैसा कैसे कैसे निकलता है? escrow से पैसा कैसे कैसे निकलता है? So if the offer is withdrawn, right? If the offer is withdrawn, then 100% of the amount is paid back to the acquirer. 100% back to the acquirer, correct? In case of
Sir,
any violation, forfeiture हो जाता है, then in that case, that 1/3 each, you're going to mention that. And for the payment, yes or no? And for the payment to the shareholders of target company. So 90% of escrow will be transferred to,
special escrow account.
this will be transferred to special escrow account. If the escrow account is in the form of cash, yes or no? If
Yes, sir.
escrow is in the form of cash. What about the balance 10%?
Released back after 30
So
days.
balance 10% after 30 days from the end of the offer period, right? From the end of the offer period. And let's say if there is a bank guarantee, then if there is bank guarantee or there is freely tradable security, so this will also be released. Yes or no? This would be again released after 30 days from the end of the offer period. आप बताइए, ये क्लियर हुआ?
Sir, withdrawal वाला जो point था,
Yes.
there is no need of after 30 days from the end
नहीं
of
नहीं
in
नहीं
that.
नहीं
No?
नहीं 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 नहीं. If it is withdrawal, then immediately after the withdrawal, as soon as the certificate is issued for withdrawal, you immediately get the money. Okay. So this was again a 5-mark question and expect ये question repeat होगा. Now this is again question which we had discussed while we were studying takeover regulation, the exemption part. Right. This is again from June 2016. Sorry, June 2017. Now tell me, what would be the answer for this? Now this answer I expect that you all would be answering. So does it allow? Does it allow now competent authority? Does it allow?
No, sir.
Right now it is not, right? So not eligible for withdrawal or not eligible for exemption if it is by a competent authority, right? If the scheme is approved by competent authority. If the scheme is approved by the competent authority. What else? So when do you get the exemption? The scheme should be approved by,
By order of court.
yes, or the tribunal,
Tribunal.
right? So scheme should be, again, it can be approved by either the court or the tribunal, right? This court or tribunal can be in India or it can be a foreign one. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this competent authority was withdrawn. Yes or no? So the word competent authority was deleted, right? Thereafter, again, if you see, citing the case. So this happened in case of SpiceJet. Okay. So SpiceJet was taken over under scheme where which authority was what was considered as the appropriate authority here? Where?
Ministry of
Civil
Aviation and
Aviation. Correct. Ministry of Civil Aviation. Right. So the Ministry of Civil Aviation.
so we will write here that competent authority was omitted or deleted by SEBI.
Yes,
We will write
yes,
this.
yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. You're going to write this. Rather, this is going to add another marks for your answer. 5 marks ka hai na?
Okay, yes.
You need to write, you need to mention, right? So Ministry of Civil Aviation was considered as competent authority. And they were allowed exemption, correct? They were allowed exemption. However, now it is not available because SEBI has deleted the word competent authority from this. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Right? Does this make sense? Okay, so this was your June 2017 attempt. Then you have December 2017. So again, the question got repeated. And in December 2013, this was question number 1, part C. So this was again for 5 marks. So the answer is same as June 2017, question number 2A, part 3. Right? Let's see for the next question. Okay. What is voluntary open offer? Voluntary offer for acquiring shares in the other company, and state the restrictions. So this was a 3-mark question. This was a 3-mark question which was asked in again December 2017. This was question number 3, part E. So is it the same answer? Right? The same answer we did right now. This is the same answer. So same as June 17, question number 2C, correct? So this is going to be same as June 17, question number 2C. Okay. Let's see then. We have another question. So this was a googly question which was asked in the exam and very, very important. So this is your June 2018. And this was for 5 marks. And this is question number 1, part C. So tell me what is going to be the answer for this question. What is going to be the answer for this question? Okay, this pertains to which regulation? This pertains to which regulation? This pertains to which regulation?
5A.
5A, right? So as per regulation 5A, if the acquirer want, now just understand this is a 5-mark question, correct? So you need to explain it properly in detail. So as per regulation 5A, the acquirer may delist the company pursuant to the open offer. Yes or no? May delist the target company pursuant to the open offer. Pursuant to the open offer. Correct? Yes or no? Guys, yes or no? Then what else? Someone is giving the counter offer, correct? So as per regulation 20, counter offer can be made by any person. Yes or no? The counter offer can be made by any person after the acquirer has given the public announcement. Yes or no? Such counter offer is made within how many days? Such counter offer is to be made within 15 days from the detailed public statement, right? So you have explained counter offer, you have explained the delisting one. Now you need to explain that regulation 5A, सब रेगुलेशन 4 क्लॉज 1. अभी अगर इतना याद रहता है तो ठीक, नहीं तो जस्ट राइट रेगुलेशन 5A. What does it state? It states that if competing offer is made, right? If a competing offer is made, then the acquirer will not be allowed to delist the company. Yes or no? The acquirer shall not be entitled to delist the company. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, here what has happened? In this case, what has happened? ABC Limited intends to delist the company, but SureWin Limited has given the counter offer. So can ABC Limited delist the company?
No.
No. So you'll mention here, since SureWin Limited has given the counter offer. SureWin Limited has given the counter offer. Or you can say competing offer. ABC Limited cannot delist the company, right? आप बताइए, is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead then see the other question. Now, this was again one googly question which was asked. That was a very silly question which they asked. Now, just pardon me if I've used the word silly, because institute could have asked a little better question than this. Better in the sense, this question could have been made little more tricky, like they have asked in the new syllabus December 2020 attempt. Not tricky, but in the sense they could have again improved a little bit of the level of the answer. But again, if you see this question, what does it say? So again, it's a 3-mark question. So what does it say? It says that Progression Limited, a listed company which has got a paid up capital of 200 crore, which is divided into 20 crores shares of rupees 10 each. Now RST are the promoters who hold how many shares? 2 crore, 5.4 crore, zero point 0.8 crore, 2.2 crore. And these are the promoters. Now, if they are the promoters, they are what? They are deemed PSE. Yes or no? Yes or no? Since RSTU are the promoters, they are what? They are deemed PSE. RSTU being the promoters, are what? They are deemed PAC. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What it says that the following situations occurred at different times. So T has transferred 0.3 crores shares, or basically 30 lakh shares to R and U. And then they say that S has transferred 22 lakh shares to T, and then R has transferred zero point 0.2, basically 20 lakh shares to T and U. Correct? Now advise, you are the company secretary. As a company secretary, you are need to advise on the required compliances. Now, whenever there is any acquisition or disposal of shares, what are the compliances? So what will be the compliances here? The compliances are only on two front. What is that? One is
Disclosures.
very good. One is your disclosure. Another is your open offer. Correct? One is your disclosure, another is your open offer. Now, as far as the open offer is concerned, this transaction would be exempt. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
This transaction would be exempt. So you would say at compliance level, there are two compliances. So there are two compliances in total. And what are those two compliances? One is your open offer. right? The public announcement for the open offer. Now here you would say that since R, S, T and U, they are the promoters, therefore any inter se transfer would be exempt. Provided, what should be there? Provided, provided they are promoters for how many years?
Minimum 3 years.
Promoters for at least
3 years.
3 years, and the price must not exceed 125% of the volume weighted average market price of 60 trading days. Yes or no? तो ये आपका एक पार्ट कंप्लीट हो गया. Why I'm telling you all this? Because even this question, if they ask you for 5 marks, you need to write it this way. Now your second obligation is with respect to the disclosures, correct? So in terms of disclosure, you have regulation 29(1) and regulation 29(2), which gives you, or basically which casts the obligation whenever there is any acquisition or disposal, you need to give the disclosure, correct? Now if you see acquirer and PSE, what is their total holding? So if you see 2 crores plus 5.4 crores, correct? Then 0.80 crores, and then you have 2.2 crores, correct? And all this is what? All this is out of 20 crores. Yes or no? Guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is for RSTUV, not V, RST. So this is for RST and U. So what is R's stake in the company? This is 10%. Yes or no? What is his stake? 5.4 divided by 20. I don't have a calculator. What it will be? 5.4 divided by 20. This is going to be 27. 27,254. Correct?
Yes.
What is this going to be? What is this going to be? 0.8. So this is 4%. Right? And what is this going to be? This is going to be 11%. Correct? Okay. Now just see. It is 0.3 crore. Now tell me 0.3 out of 20. How much it is? It is 1.5%. Yes or no? It is 1.5%. Yes or no? Are 0.3 out of 20?
Yes.
So just see in situation number 1. So what is it? It is involved. It is 0.3 out of 20, which is 1.5% each. Now who is transferring? It is T who is transferring. Yes or no? What is T's pre-holding? So T's pre-holding is 4%. Yes or no? And he is disposing 1.5, and further he is disposing 1.5. So his shareholding becomes what? His shareholding becomes 1%. So as far as T is concerned, there is no disclosure which needs to be made. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now when we see for R and when we see for U, so what is R's pre-holding? R's pre-holding is 10 and he is getting 1.5. So his pre-holding, his total holding becomes 11.5. And again, he's giving it to U. U is holding 11% plus 1.5. So this becomes 12.5. So with this transaction, there is no disclosure which is needed. Yes or no? ये समझा आपको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened in the second transaction? In the second transaction, S is transferring 22 lakh shares. Now, first of all, just see what is 22 lakh shares. So 22 lakh shares out of 20 crores. This becomes 1.1%. ये समझ रहा है आपको?
Yes, sir.
So this is 1.1%. Who is transferring? S is transferring. Yes or no? So अब second transaction में अगर आप बोलोगे तो second transaction में आ जाएगा 0.22 divided by 20. This is what 1.1%. कौन किसको ट्रांसफर कर रहा है? S is transferring it to T. So S is transferring it to T. तो आप T का प्री होल्डिंग देखो, it is 1. He is getting 1.1%. So his total becomes 2.1%. So T को कोई disclosure नहीं देना,
No.
right? What about S? S is holding 27%, correct? और 27 minus 1.1. So ये हो जाएगा 25.9%. तो यहाँ पर इनको भी कोई disclosure नहीं देना because this is again less than 2%, correct? Now let's see, there is a third transaction. So when we see a third transaction here, and in that third transaction, what is the amount involved? 0.2 crores each, right? So what is 0.2 crore? 11%. Yes or no? Guys, 11%, correct? So it is 0.2 crores. So this is 0.2 crores out of 20. So this is 1%. And who is transferring to whom? R is transferring 1% to T and R is transferring 1% to U, correct? यही हो रहा है? Now if you see, what was the pre-holding of R? If you see, R's pre-holding was 11.5%, correct? R's pre-holding is 11.5% and he is disposing 1, then he is disposing 1%, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
if he is disposing, so he's disposing 2%. So right now his shareholding becomes 9.5%. Now, if we see for T, what is T's pre-holding? T's pre-holding is 2.1. He has got 1 plus 1%. So this is 3.1%. Again, no disclosure is to be made. Then if you see for U, what is U's pre-holding? 12.5. U is 12.5 and again is getting plus 1%. So this becomes 13.5%. Now you see, what was their initial holding? His initial holding was 11. Yes or no? After 11, the acquisition has exceeded more
More
than,
than 2.
so this is
Percent.
more than 2%, right? This is more than 2%. Hence, disclosure is to be given and disclosure would be given in 29.2. Got it? Guys, is this clear? The disclosure would be given in 29.2. What about R? R is holding 10. 10 he has again. So what is the change? The change is not more than 2%. So again, no disclosure is given. Guys, clear? Guys, is this clear? So just see, this is the question. Now, further, if you see here, you're going to get. So this was all your, no, June 17, again, you have one more question. This was 3E. Just 1 minute. Yeah, so this is June 2018. No, this is not 3E. I'm so sorry. This was a 5-mark question. This was a 5-mark question. My bad. So this was a 5-mark question. And this was question number 2, capital A, part 2. Okay. So these were the 2 questions which were asked in June 2018. Now we have December 2018. This is December 2018. And in December 2018, this is your question number 2A, part 2. And this is a 5-mark question. Can you write the 4 types of anti-takeover amendments? Can you write the 4 types of anti-takeover amendments? What are the 4 types of anti-takeover amendments? Okay, what are anti-takeover amendments called? Another word for anti-takeover amendments?
Defense strategies.
No, defense strategy is there, but what it is called? Remember this term? Shark repellent. If you remember the other day when we covered anti-takeover amendments, shark repellent. Got it? Guys, got it?
Yes, sir.
So what were the four types of anti-takeover amendments? You have supermajority amendment, then you have the fair price
Fair.
amendment, then preferred stock and your classified boards. Okay. So these are the 4 points which you really need to write in your answer. Clear? Is this clear? So I'm not just repeating the same points which is there. Do write these answer and first explain. Since this is a 5-mark question, you need to explain this completely, right? So this is which slide number? Let me just see. So show all the slides. So from your slide number 146 till 148, you need to write all the points. Okay. 146 to 148 slide number. You are going to write all. Let's say if it is only a 3-mark question, then you are just going to mention and you're going to explain everything in one line. That's it. You don't have to write it in detail, right? So this was your December 2018. Then there is another question which is there. So this is again December 2018 attempt. This is question number 3, part D. And this was for 3 marks. Now, this question is more relevant for you, Neelam, because you are from old syllabus. This is from your old syllabus and straight
So,
away it is there from your module. आपके मॉड्यूल के अंदर ये क्वेश्चन दिया हुआ है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये न्यू सिलेबस के लिए रेलेवेंट नहीं है, बट जैसे मैंने बताया ओल्ड सिलेबस के लिए ये ज्यादा रेलेवेंट है क्योंकि आपके मॉड्यूल में अलग से एक सेक्शन दिया हुआ था जहां पर ये क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछा गया था कि ऐसी क्या चीजें हैं जो एक कंपनी को अट्रैक्टिव टारगेट बनाएगा या एक डिजायरेबल कैंडिडेट बनाएगा टेक ओवर. ठीक है. And this you have to answer from the acquirer point of view. So you are a acquirer and you are looking for a company for takeover. Okay. So what are the situations where you feel that okay इसको फटाफट से टेक ओवर किया जा सकता है? तो ऐसे कौन कौन से सिचुएशंस होते हैं? सबसे पहला तो यहाँ पर क्या रहता है? लो प्रमोटर होल्डिंग. If the company has got low promoter holding, then you can attempt for a takeover. Okay. Guys, clear? First point, when the promoter holding is very low. Guys, this is clear?
sir,
Yes?
if the question, if the factors which make a company vulnerable are the same,
Yes, yes. It's the same thing. Vulnerable and desirable candidate for takeover. It's the same.
okay, sir.
It's same, right? So again, that's the another way of asking the same question here. So if the promoter holding is quite low, then again, it is a desirable candidate for takeover because you can do a hostile takeover here. Then what else? What else? If
So
the,
stock price.
yes, if the market price is low, so the stock price, low stock price, if the market price of the share is very low, then again, it becomes a very attractive asset, attractive company. And low stock price means low stock price with respect to its valuation. So if it's a loss making company and the share prices is low, of course, no one would want to acquire that company. But as per the valuation, if you see the market price is low, then again, it becomes a desirable company which you would want to take over. Then if the company has got liquid balance sheet, right? If the company has a liquid balance sheet, which company? The target company has the liquid balance sheet. Liquid balance sheet of the target company. Either there is ideal cash in the company or there are liquid assets which can be sold. right? Or there are liquid assets that can be sold, right? What else makes a company as a desirable, right? If the company has subsidiary companies, right? Subsidiary companies, or if there are undertakings which can be easily sold, that can be easily sold. You would want to acquire such kind of a company. If the company does not have debt, right? A low levered company, a low levered company, company में कोई भी debt नहीं है, so you would again want to acquire such kind of a company, and then based on that you can again raise more loan. So this is there. So 3 mark question exam के अंदर, this can again come in your exam. Old syllabus, I feel it is more relevant. In new syllabus, if you get this question, for sure you can write these points, but the chances are more that this question can get repeated for the old syllabus students because this has been directly asked from your module. Okay. Now let's see the other question. So this was only for your November 2018. Now this is your June 2019 old syllabus. Okay. And this is question number 1, part C, which is for 5 marks. Now tell me, what is going to be the answer for this question? It says that Ramesh, who is the promoter of the company, holds 20% paid up share capital, and the company is also listed. Now, Ramesh intends to pledge his shares for obtaining the loan. What are the requirements of disclosure? Now, what will be the disclosure requirements here? What will be
So
the disclosure?
both 31 regulation sub-regulation 1 and 4.
Right. So he'll have to give a disclosure under regulation 31, sub-regulation 1, whenever he is going to, since he is a promoter. Okay. Since Ramesh is a promoter. Now just understand this is a 5 mark question. So what you are going to write, just explain regulation 31 in general, that whenever a promoter creates pledge over the shares, okay, whenever the promoter creates pledge or encumbrance, right, over its shares of target company, then in that case you need to inform, then again in 31 sub regulation 2. So 31 sub regulation 2, whenever the pledge is being invoked or the shares are released, in all the cases it is the duty of the promoter to inform, yes or no? So the promoter needs to intimate. So the intimation needs to be given to
Every stock exchange.
where the shares of the target company are listed and the registered office of the target company, and such intimation needs to be given within 7 working days
From the date of creation
from
and
the date of creation, invocation or release of the shares, right? So this is going to be the requirement. Apart from that, annual disclosure again would be given, right? The annual disclosure would again be given under a regulation 31 sub regulation 4. Okay. So this was in your June 2019 attempt, right? This was a 5 mark question. Then this is there, June 2019, again, old syllabus. This was question number 3, part B, and this is for 3 marks. An open offer made cannot be withdrawn except under certain circumstances. So we discussed regulation 23 sometimes back, correct? So I think it was June 2016 attempt, right? So regulation 23, you need to write it here. Okay. Guys, clear this one?
yes, sir.
Okay. Then again, you have from June 2019, old syllabus, question number 3, part C. So conditional offer and competing offer are one and the same. Now, Neelam, you tell me, is it distinguished between or this is a comment based question?
Comment based question.
Comment based question. Since this is a comment based question, what will be your approach for this answer? First and foremost, you are going to write whether you agree to this statement or not. So we'll say no, conditional offer and competing offer are not same, right? So I'm writing here both are not same. And then you need to explain why. So this is going to be your first point. Then in the second point, explain what is conditional offer. And in the third point, you explain what is your competing offer. So this can be your approach. Or what you can do, you can write what is conditional offer, then explain what is competing offer. And in conclusion, you can say that both are not same. Guys, this is clear? Simple,
Yes.
right? Now we have one peculiar question, right? Which was, I'm sorry. This was asked in June 2019 new syllabus. And surprisingly, this was asked in part B, not in part A. So this is question number 6, capital A, part 3. Right. Now, if you see this, it is discussing explain the major amendments introduced in the takeover regulation notified on 21st September 2011. So when I read this question, I was of the opinion that you need to write the amendments that have taken place in the takeover regulation. Like in 2011, like the competent authority was removed and all those things. So there are two ways to approach this question. One is you can write what are the amendments in 2011 regulation which has been made, like from 2011 to 2020. You can write it this way. So this was my approach. But then I saw the ICSI module. In your module, they've clearly mentioned that basically they want to make a comparison from 1997 regulation to 2011 regulation. This is what module say. When the suggested answer came, that also said the same thing. Therefore, my opinion gets nullified. Though even I would still argue that this is not a wrong interpretation. Correct. You can still write because it's 2020. It's not that the takeover regulations have just got changed. So it's not that. But since our module has provided, then we have to write as per the module, right? So again, it would be more advisable because ultimately I'm not going to check the paper. The paper would be checked by your examiner there. And if examiner doesn't find it apt, so quite possible you may lose marks in this. So we'll not try to mess with the examiner here. And we will just write what are the major amendments that have been introduced in the takeover regulation. So what are the major amendments which are there? So this is only what I'm going to explain in the next slide. So one of the major amendment is that earlier the trigger level was at 15%, right? So the trigger level is increased from 15%. This has been increased to 25%. Then second would be the offer size. So earlier the offer size was 20%. Now this offer size has been increased to 26%. Okay. Then again, when we talk about the exemptions, so again, exemptions have been increased, right? So certain exemptions have been included. Certain exemptions are included which were not there in the previous regulations. Then if you see, most important, the non-compete fees is waived off, right? The payment of non-compete fees waived off in the sense this is not allowed. You cannot pay a non-compete fees now. Thereafter, if you see, again, the creeping acquisition limit. So earlier for creeping acquisition, what was the limit? The creeping acquisition, it was allowed between 15 to 55%. This was the level of creeping acquisition. During this, you can do a creeping acquisition of 5%, right? So the creeping acquisition was 5% per annum. But now it is from 25 till 75%, you can do the creeping acquisition of 5% per annum. So this was again another major amendments which was there. And then again, the release of independent director opinion. The release of independent director opinion. It was not there in the earlier regulation. Now it is being there. Thereafter, there are many amendments which are there in the definition itself, right? That is being there. Then again, the definition of the hostile bid, right? The bailout takeover, all these concepts have been removed from the 2011 regulations, all those which were there in the 97 regulations. But yes, these are some of the points which are there. So just refer the module. You can also refer for the module for the detail points, but for 5 marks, I think this much is more than sufficient because this pretty much covers all, right? Thereafter, December 2019, old syllabus. So this is again a repeated question. December 2019, this is old syllabus and this was question number 1, part B. So this is same like your June 2018. This is the same question. So this was there. Again, same thing, ABC Limited. In fact, they have not even changed the name, right? So you can write this answer. Then in the new syllabus, right? In the new syllabus in December 2019 attempt, okay? This was a question 3 part D and this was for 3 marks. Now tell me, what are the kinds of takeover which are practiced? Now tell me, what are the different kinds of takeover that is there? What are the different kinds of takeover that we have?
Direct, indirect.
Okay. Okay. What else? But direct, indirect, still the answer can be improved. It's
Friendly
asking
take
friendly and hostile takeover. Okay. So
bailout वगैरह.
नहीं बेल आउट वगैरह भी लिखने को तो देखो लिख सकते हो, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट, बट व्हाट द अप्रोप्रिएट आंसर वुड बी हियर इज you have hostile takeover and you have a friendly takeover. Broadly, if you see the different kinds of takeover, one is the hostile takeover, right? And the other one is which you called as the friendly takeover. Thereafter, you can mention that in case of hostile takeover, the hostile takeover can be done directly or the hostile takeover can be done indirectly by acquiring the parent company, right? So this is indirectly by acquiring the parent company. Remember that PowerPoint presentation, Koila movie? Remember?
Yes, sir.
So that meme material is perfect for this answer. So in case of friendly, again, in case of friendly, it can be a negotiated deal, right? It can be a negotiated takeover or it can be a bailout takeover. Now, since this is a 3-mark question, okay? Since this is a 3-mark question, you just explain it everything this way that broadly there are hostile takeover friendly. Explain in one line all. If it's a 5-mark question, explain it in detail. Okay, guys, clear?
Yes.
Right? So this is there. Now let's check. This is a question which is from December 2020 attempt, the recent one, and from the old syllabus. 5 marks, and this was question number 2A, part 1. Now this is the question. Once open offer is made, there is no question of withdrawal, yet there are exceptions. What is the question? What is the question? It's saying that comment your views in terms of the provision. What is the question here? What is the question here? आपको इस स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर कमेंट करना है, तो आप क्या कमेंट करोगे? ओपन ऑफर वंस मेड, देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ विड्रॉवल, yet there is an exception.
So we will explain about the regulation 23 and then about exceptions. No.
So basically regulation 23 is your exception, correct? So it's your regulation 23 only, which talks about the withdrawal of the open offer. withdrawal of the open offer. Now, if you remember last time when we discussed about the withdrawal of the open offer, it was asked for 3 marks, right? And I said you, if it is being asked for 5 marks, do mention about the preferential allotment. Remember?
Yes, sir.
And in this question, since it is like this, that once open offer is made, there is no question of withdrawal. So before you start with regulation 23, just explain it. Yes, once the open offer is made, it cannot be withdrawn, right? The open offer made is not withdrawn or cannot be withdrawn. It cannot be withdrawn. Okay. Except then you mention as provided in regulation 23 and just the circumstances which are there, the 4 circumstances, and in your expert opinion, you are going to write about the preferential allotment. That if preferential allotment is made, then in that case, if so, it's basically the date of board resolution in which you give the public announcement, right? So in case the
Not passed.
special resolution is not passed, open offer will not be allowed to withdraw. The acquirer will still have to go ahead with the open offer. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right? So this was a 5-mark question from the old syllabus paper. Then we have, this is again question number 3, part C, December 2020, right? Old syllabus. And this was for 3 marks. Now I would tell this is a fantastic question which they have asked. Now in this question, they are just trying to test you whether you have just ratified the takeover defense strategy or you have actually understood it. So what happens in case of poison pill? What happens in case of poison pill? Unexpected expenditure is being incurred by the company, correct? If you
Yes,
see
sir.
there is any unexpected high expenditure is incurred by the company, or it gives the right, as soon as a hostile takeover attempt is made, it gives rights to the existing shareholder to buy the shares, correct? To buy the shares at discounted rate. Yes or no? Now, when this happens, it results in 2 things. One is what? It dilutes the voting right of acquirer, correct? And secondly, it makes the acquisition more expensive. It makes the acquisition more expensive. Yes or no? Therefore, poison pill is used by the board of directors as a bargain to demand fair price. They can demand increased premium, right? When more number of shares are there or such expenditure is not to be incurred. So this basically, it increases the bargaining power. Okay. It increases the bargaining power of the board of directors, which leads to increased premium payments, right? By the acquirer. Acquirer को ज्यादा पैसे देने पड़ते हैं, ज्यादा प्रीमियम पे करना पड़ता है. ओके, अगर वो चाहते हैं कि ये वेव ऑफ हो जाए. आप बताओ, इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
ओके, सो ये आपका एग्जाम में ओल्ड सिलेबस में आपको ये क्वेश्चन मिला था for December 2020 attempt. Now let's see December 2020 attempt for the new syllabus. So this is 2020 new syllabus and this was question number 1 part D. A fantastic question. Really good question. Now I'll give you 2 minutes to just analyze this question. And in this question, you have two parts. One is they are asking you, what is creeping acquisition? And then you need to determine, evaluate what is the requirement, whether the requirement is there to give the public announcement in the above case. You need to answer that question. So just see whether it is required or not. I give you all 2 minutes. So first of all, you need to explain what is creeping acquisition. So when we discuss about creeping acquisition, what is that? Creeping acquisition is under regulation what? It's under regulation 3, sub-regulation 2, correct? And what it says that if the pre-holding is 25%, correct?
Or more, yes.
Or more, then the acquirer can acquire up to 5% additional voting right. Yes or no?
Yes.
In a financial year without attracting the obligation to make the open offer, correct? Without attracting the obligation to make public announcement for the open offer. Yes or no? So this is your creeping acquisition. This is what is called as creeping acquisition. Now, if you just analyze this question, how many shares are there in this company? There are total 1 lakh shares. And how much does promoter hold? Promoter holds 37,000 shares, right? Now this is typing error in the question paper. Okay, so don't get carried away by this. 1st April 2019. So read this also as 2019 only. So the promoters, they have 37,000 shares, which is equivalent to 37%. And there are 3 promoters, Ram, Shyam, and Mohan. Ram holds 21%, 12%, and 4%. Okay. So let's just first make the pre-analysis. So the total number of shares. The total number of shares in this case is what? It is 1 lakh. Out of which, what is the promoter holding? The promoters are holding 37,000 shares out of 1 lakh. So what is the promoter holding? Promoter holding is 30%, 37%. अभी ये 37% का we are going to do the post-mortem, in which Ram is holding how much? Ram is holding 21%. That is, Ram is holding 21,000 shares. Then you have Shyam, right? What is Shyam holding? Shyam is holding 12%. That is 12,000 shares. Then you have Mohan, correct? And what is Mohan holding? Mohan is holding 4%. That is 4,000 shares, correct? Guys, clear with this? Right? Now there is a preferential allotment which is being made. So this is the preferential allotment. What is the preferential allotment for? How many shares? The preferential allotment is for 8,000 shares. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you say 7,000 to Ram and 1,000 to Mohan. Yes or no? So 8,000 shares where 7,000 is being issued to Ram plus 1,000 is being issued to Shyam. Shyam? No, it's Mohan. So 1,000 is being issued to Mohan. So what will be the post allotment voting right? So post,
41%.
this is going to be 37,000 plus 7,000 plus 1,000. Yes or no? Acquirer and PSC, all the three promoters collectively. And here it, it is going to be 1 lakh plus 7,000 plus 1,000. So this becomes how much? 45. This becomes 45,000 out of 1,08,000. So what is this? How much is this percentage? This is 41.66%, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, 41.67%.
So post allotment is this. So what is the difference? What is the difference? So post allotment is 41.66. What is the pre allotment? The pre allotment is 35%, correct? So what is the difference? How much they have acquired additionally?
So pre was 37.
Sorry,
7%.
pre is 37. So if pre is 37, what is the additional acquisition? The additional acquisition is 3 and 1 4. So this is 4.66%. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if it is 4.66%, this is what? This is less than, or rather this we should write it. This is not more than 5. Yes or no? This acquisition is not more than 5%. Yes or no? This is not more than 5%. If this is not more than 5%, hence 3 2 is not attracted. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But then you'll also have to see individually also, because what is the holding of Ram? Ram is holding 21%, correct? 21,000 share. Mohan is holding 4,000 share. He is getting 1,000 more. He is getting 7,000 more. So quite possible that Ram may have triggered individually. Yes or no? Yes or no? So for Ram, if we see, Ram was holding 21,000 shares and he got 7,000 shares. After that, if you see, what was the pre-holding of the company? 1 lakh plus 7,000 plus 1,000. So the total becomes 28,000. Sorry, 28,000 out of 1,08,000. So pursuant to this acquisition, what is the holding of Ram? Ram's holding becomes
25.92%.
25.92%. So this has exceeded 25. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what are we going to say? That Ram has attracted the obligation. Ram has attracted the obligation to make a public announcement for open offer. Under which regulation? Under which regulation?
31.
Under regulation 3, sub regulation 3, read with regulation 3, sub regulation 1. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And you'll also have to mention the obligation is only on Ram and not on Shyam and Mohan. Only on Ram and not on Shyam and Mohan. Now tell me, is this clear? Is this
Yes,
clear?
sir. So firstly हमें ये confusion आया कि individual लेना है कि
तो दोनों तरह से हमें देखना होगा ना. We'll have to see from both the ends. Though,
Yes, sir.
so what Institute has smartly done, they have just asked you what is creeping acquisition, and they are saying that evaluate the requirement of public announcement in this case. They have not mentioned 3-2, 3-1 or 3-3 or 4. So when we talk about evaluate the requirement of public announcement, so the requirement of public announcement is completely under regulation 3-4, yes or no? So you'll have to take it this way. So remember, while we were practicing these type of questions That time also I used to say that you have to check both individually as well as collectively. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have the last question for the day. And this is again December 2020 new syllabus. And this was question number 3, part D, which was asked for 3 marks. Now this should be again a cakewalk question for you. It would be almost impossible to use Pacman defense in India. This is a 3-mark question. So what is going to be your approach for this question? What is going to be your approach for this question? Since this is a 3-mark question, what is going to be your approach? Just quickly explain what is Pacman defense. So what happens in case of Pacman defense? The target company starts acquiring the shares of acquirer company. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So in case of Pacman defense, the target company starts acquiring shares of the acquirer company. And what is the objective? The objective is to get control over the acquirer company. Now, is it impossible? Is it impossible? Is Pacman defense impossible? No, it's not impossible. But what is the problem here? Remember when we discussed Pacman defense, that time also I had said you, Pacman defense is viable only when this is viable only when what? The target company is a cash rich company. Remember?
Yes, sir. Cash flow होना liquidable होना चाहिए.
So the company is a cash rich company and the acquirer company's shareholding is widely scattered, right? And available at low price. We discussed about L&T and Mindtree. So I said you, Mindtree could not do this. Why? Why Mindtree could not do this?
It was a smaller company. It's not a
Because it's,
cash.
yes, so it's not a cash rich company, it's a smaller company, right? And L&T was too big to do the acquisition for, correct? Thereafter, again, if you see regulation 23, 26, regulation 26 again puts an obligation that the target company needs to have a, they need to take the shareholder approval by way of special resolution if they do any borrowing, material borrowing outside the ordinary course of business. So restrictions would be there from the takeover regulation also. Okay. So restrictions are placed on the target company by both SAST regulation and even the Companies Act. Remember intercorporate investments and deposits, where restrictions in the sense the special resolution would be needed. So even if it's a 5-mark question, your answer would be like this only, right? So is it impossible? Is it impossible?
No.
It's not impossible, but it is very difficult and it will be viable only in these circumstances. So if you, I can just take you back to the previous slide where we have covered the takeover defense strategy. Probably there we can discuss this. So this is that Pacman defense. So acquirer attempts a hostile takeover over the target, then the target in return starts acquiring the share. So this is only applicable when the acquirer company is smaller in size and the target company have a strong cash flow. Okay. And this is not possible if the acquirer company is closely held. The acquirer company needs to have a widely held shareholding, only then it can be done. right? Yes or no? So that's the lecture for your today, and we have completely covered the takeover regulations, right? All the past exam questions right from June 2016 till your December 2020, the latest attempt we have done. So somewhere around 28 questions we have covered. Okay, and we will see you guys tomorrow, right? And we are going to start tomorrow. We will start. So tomorrow, I think we are not having any lecture. Day after tomorrow, we will start, or whenever in the next lecture we are going to meet, we'll start either with buyback regulations, okay, or we will start with the mergers. So let me just see how do I frame your entire lecture, and then we will meet for the next lecture, right? So that's it for your today's lecture. Take care. Bye bye. And I really hope this will be very helpful for you in evaluating in terms of your preparation also, and writing your answers also in the exam. So do practice these questions and share your answers with me. Feel free to share your PDFs with me. I will check and I can again get back to you. Watch this lecture once again, especially when you are writing the answer. Just go through these lectures once again and just see what are the points there, and accordingly you can write the answer. Okay. So take care. Bye bye.